From beads and shells to gold and paper, our quest to represent value has been relentless. And just when we thought we'd seen it all with cards and banks, along came a currency unlike any other. One that doesn't crink or crumple, but exists purely in the realm of the digital. Welcome to the enigmatic world of Bitcoin.
You confiscate a few $1 billion out of private bank accounts and you print a couple $1 trillion, and all of a sudden, you know what happens? People start to worry. So out of this worry, we have something called the Bitcoin.
As the final decade of the 20th century unfurled, the world was on the cusp of a digital renaissance. Analog was turning digital, connections were being forged across continents. This new World Wide Web wasn't just reshaping communication, it was redefining commerce. But amidst this transformation, a paradox emerged. In an age where the world was sharing digital smiles, thoughts, and even digital art, why was money still shackled to the physical realm? Why was our most fundamental token of trade lagging? The digital era beckoned for a monetary revolution, one without borders and without tangible weight, one that could match the pace of our newly interconnected existence. The ambition was clear: mold money for the digital age. Let's enter the digital realm of the 90s, and amidst this world filled with ones and zeros, there existed a luminary called David Chaum, a cryptographer with a vision. Chaum wasn't just taken by the idea of digital currency, he was obsessed with a pivotal concern, which is privacy. With DigiCash, Chaum introduced the world to a concept that it hadn't seen before, a digital money that could be as private as a hand-to-hand cash transaction, with transactions that left no trails, no footprints. But unfortunately, like many trailblazers, DigiCash had its own Achilles heel. And while it danced beautifully in the world of code, it stumbled in the corridors of financial powerhouses. See, DigiCash's brilliance lay in its code, but its real-world challenges were more than intricate. And while it held promise for the future, it existed in a present that wasn't fully ready for its novelty. But still, in its bid to revolutionize currency, DigiCash danced on the precipice of digital innovation and traditional finance. It wasn't really fully either or, it sort of held this awkward middle ground. And though the lights eventually dimmed on DigiCash, it did set the beginning of a journey towards digital money that eventually led to the creation of Bitcoin. Now, this is the interesting thing about the history of Bitcoin, is that it didn't just come out of nowhere. It wasn't the first attempt and the first success. There were many attempts before, DigiCash being a prime example of one of them. And another notable attempt at digital money before Bitcoin was eGold. Its proposition was simple, yet enticing. See, every digital coin on the eGold platform was backed by actual physical gold. This was, I guess, an attempt to bridge the trust of tangible assets with the convenience of digital transactions. But as it turned out, trust ended up being exactly the issue. It quickly garnered attention. Lots of eyes were drawn to eGold because of the way that it was bridging the old and the new. But with this growth came challenges. See, when you create a digital money and you back it with a physical item, what you're really doing is issuing claims, digital claims on the physical item, which ends up putting a singular point of failure on whoever is responsible for holding the physical item. Which is awkward because you have a situation then when all of the value of the digital token is completely dependent on the existence of the physical item, in this case, the gold. And the awkward thing about that is you need to have somebody that's responsible for taking care of all of this gold and making sure that it doesn't go missing. This is an incredibly centralized system, which means that there's one person or company that's responsible for the value of all of the coins. And if that company goes kaput and they stop upholding the project, then the value of all of the digital tokens can also go kaput. And so this isn't something you'd really want to put a whole lot of trust in, simply based on the fact that there is one singular point of failure that could see the whole thing crashing down. And facing legal scrutiny and operational concerns, eGold faced the problems that many attempts at digital money had faced: trust and regulatory compliance. See, in this quest for a digital money, many shared a vision, yet certain challenges repeatedly surfaced, casting dark shadows on the dreams of creating a digital money. And of these dark shadows cast on the dreams of a digital money, there were three that stood out in particular. Three big challenges that we just couldn't seem to rectify all three at once, and unless you manage to do that, the chances are you're not going to create a digital money that works. The first of which being centralization. the Achilles heel for pioneers like DigiCash. Second, regulation. E-gold's downfall. See, from a regulatory perspective, digital money navigates very murky waters, and the lack of a clear legal framework often led to confrontations that would eventually prove to be catastrophic. And the third challenge was trust and security, the bedrock of any currency. And for a digital form to be widely accepted, it needed not just robust security measures, but also the confidence of its users. Breaches, frauds, and scams were challenges waiting at every single turn. These were the hurdles, but where challenges exist, so do solutions, and as history would show, the dream was far from over. Before Bitcoin took its first breath, there was a movement, a collective of tech visionaries that dreamed of a world where privacy was paramount and centralized power was questioned. Enter the Cypherpunks, a group not bound by location but by a philosophy. The Cypherpunks were very worried about the privacy concerns of an increasingly digital world. And this was back in the 80s and 90s, before anybody was even worried in the slightest. And these guys were growing increasingly concerned about it before I was even born. So they were pretty ahead of the curve. They believed in using cryptography as the way to achieve this privacy in an increasingly digital world. For the Cypherpunks, it wasn't just about fancy code. It was a mission. Secure emails, anonymous transactions, and the seeds of decentralized currencies were born. And the Cypherpunks weren't just dreamers, they weren't just talkers, they were doers. Their discussions and principles and experiments paved the way for one of the greatest cryptographic inventions of our time. And while not directly credited, the DNA of the cypherpunk movement undeniably flows within the blueprint of Bitcoin. The spirit of decentralization and personal autonomy and financial freedom wasn't born with Bitcoin. It was kindled by the torchbearers of digital privacy, the cypherpunks. In 2008, a paper emerges. The name attached? Satoshi Nakamoto, a name as cryptic as the revolution it hinted at. The world was grappling with financial turmoil, and distrust in traditional banking systems was palpable. In this backdrop, Nakamoto's white paper wasn't just a technical document, it was a statement. Bitcoin, a decentralized peer-to-peer currency, free from the shackles of central banks, devoid of intermediaries. Nakamoto's vision was clear. A financial system where power is distributed and trust is unnecessary. Now, who Nakamoto actually is remains one of the world's greatest mysteries, but their legacy and their invention of this decentralized monetary system has undeniably left an indelible mark on history. From DigiCash to eGold, there were many attempts at digital currency, but Bitcoin was the first to succeed. So what made it so different? How did it navigate the challenges that defeated its predecessors? Well, firstly, there's decentralization. While earlier ventures like DigiCash and eGold hinged on centralized designs, Bitcoin flourished on a system where every participant played a role. No middlemen, no central points of failure. And then there's proof of work, the reason that we can trust that a Bitcoin transaction will actually go through. And then there's also the immutable ledger. This is what everybody knows as the blockchain. Every single Bitcoin transaction, once it's been written to the chain, becomes an unalterable part of history. This makes the entire history of Bitcoin transactions transparent and tamper-proof, which is a testament to Bitcoin's promise of trustworthiness. In the evolving tale of digital currencies, many tried and failed, but Bitcoin emerged victorious. Through millions of nuanced trade-offs from the bottom up, its design enabled it to flourish. So where's the space at today? The digital finance landscape of today is a far cry from its humble beginnings. See, DigiCash, with its strong emphasis on privacy, once envisioned a world where our financial dealings remained our own. And while it may not have lived to see that dream, Bitcoin definitely hasn't forgotten. I mean, only recently there was an upgrade to the network, which essentially reinstated a lot of the progress that was made with DigiCash. See, DigiCash used these things called chow mein mints, and these chow mein mints built on blind signatures were the reason why DigiCash was so successfully private. And Bitcoin has used the progress that was made in this area, applied it to the Lightning Network, and now you're able to have Chain eCash as Bitcoin. And so these initiatives like the Lightning Network carry forth that torch of privacy, giving users the discretion that DigiCash once dreamed of, but at a scale that suits the modern world. And then there's eGold, rooted in the tangible value of gold. Bitcoin, in contrast, doesn't rely on any tangible assets in order to derive its value. It comes from its revolutionary decentralized nature, its security, and the trust of millions. Not trusting each other, but trusting the protocol that enables them to interact. Where DigiCash and eGold failed, and the challenges that they faced in the creation of a digital money, were noticed by Satoshi Nakamoto. And today, it doesn't just exist alongside traditional currencies. It challenges their very foundation, all while paying homage to the digital pioneers that paved the way. The journey of digital money has been marked with innovation, trial, error, and resilience. It was knocked down 7 times and it got up 8. Not literally, I'm just saying that as a phrase. From the local cafe to global remittance, Bitcoin's presence today is undeniable. It's more than just a currency. It's the culmination of years of effort and learning, as well as a token that represents the philosophy of the Cypherpunks. It's not just about the technology. It's about the collective belief in a more decentralized future. And if that doesn't sound good to you, then I don't know what will. So anyway, that's just about it for this video. If you think that anything I said was stupid, please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. We upload videos just like this every single week, where we'll be tackling a new topic surrounding Bitcoin and delving into it to make it as understandable as possible, so that you don't have to pull your hair out when you're learning about this stuff. So make sure that you subscribe and put the notifications bell on. Otherwise, that's just about it. So thank you for watching.